When Irfan van Heerden was born in May 2016, he was a healthy little boy and Marlies Hubert's first baby.
As time went on and he got older, we saw delays in his development.
By the age of 11 months, he still wasn't sitting.
We actually ended up at a neurologist. She was the one who sent us to Steve Biko for his first hearing test, and we found out that he actually has hearing loss.
In 2017, Irfan was referred to the Ear Institute in Pretoria for evaluation. They diagnosed a bilateral sensory neural hearing loss.
His hearing loss originates in the inner ear, specifically the cochlear.
Dr. Catherine van Dijk is the head of the Cochlear implant division.
So a cochlear implant would be the solution for him because it bypasses the damaged part, the inner ear, and then the sound can go directly to the brain for him to interpret.
Irfan was born deaf, and in the past this would have condemned him to a life of silence. But cochlear implants are an everyday miracle. But that miracle doesn't come cheap.
So the cost of a cochlear implant is around about 380,000 Rand. That includes the device, the surgery and the hospitalization.
Irfan's medical aid paid just over 300,000 Rand of the cost, and the rest was covered by a donation from the Foundation for Children with Hearing Loss and funds raised through 2 charity concerts and 2 golf days. His cochlear implant was switched on in December 2017.
It was really amazing. He just looked up and then went on with whatever he's busy with. With the hearing aid, the words started coming and he started sitting and walking by himself.
With the help of a speech therapist, Irfan progressed even further. In 2019, he got his second cochlear implant in his right ear, and last month received an upgrade to the processor for his left ear. Their new medical aid covered all costs.
These days, the biggest design changes are made to the outside part, the processors. And this is important. This is why we wanted Ivan to upgrade so that he could have the latest technology.
2 weeks after his upgrade, the family went away for the weekend. A cousin joined them in Sabi in Mpumalanga, and on Sunday, the 28th of February, they drove home to Pretoria. During the day, this stretch of the N4 highway just before Diamond Hill Toll Plaza seems quite boring and unremarkable. But at night, anything is possible. Marlies was driving while the others were asleep. They had just passed Bronkhorstspruit at about 10 p.m. when a tire burst and she was forced to pull over.
We unpacked everything in the boot to get to the spare wheel and realized that there's no jack and no spanner.
Feeling unsafe, they called friends in Centurion to come to their rescue while Irfan's father, Skulk, checked his GPS.
We saw that we were 16 kilos away from the Diamond Hill toll gate, but we knew we were not going to make it, not with that tire, but we just at least wanted to move forward instead of sitting at one place. So that's what he did. He moved it forward and then got out to check the tire.
Realizing they were damaging the wheel rim, they decided to stop and wait.
I was on the phone. His cousin and Irfan were both sleeping in the back seat, and all of a sudden, Skulk's door gets pulled open and he gets forced out of the car with a gun. Obviously, I checked to my side to see if anybody's there, and they also pulled my door open.
They were made to sit in the grass at gunpoint while the rest of the gang ransacked their car.
And the guy actually asked us, he was like, "What are you guys doing out on the highway this time of the night? You guys know it's dangerous." He was actually the one who was pointing the firearm straight at me with Irfan in my arms.
Were you worried that they might shoot you?
In that situation, it's going to sound harsh, but I don't know, it's actually how I felt. You prepare yourself for all of you to die that night, including your child. You don't see any other way out. You know at that moment that that's how it's going to happen, because that's how it always happens.
So during the incident, were there other cars driving past?
There were a lot of cars driving past. But what can you do in that situation? Because if I've got my family in the car, you protect your own family. That's the way we live now.
Within minutes, the gang disappeared into the long grass, carrying all the family's possessions, including both of Irfan's sound processors.
I take them off when he sleeps.
So you took them off and put them where?
In my handbag.
It was only when they reached the Bronkhorstspruit police station that they realized their tire hadn't burst, but had been ripped apart by spikes deliberately placed in the road by their attackers. This was not an isolated incident. Police have warned motorists to look out for spikes on the N4 highway. The problem is that they're not so easy to see, especially at night.
N4 Diamond Hill, N4 Diamond Hill. Be safe, friends and family. This is what they do. This is what you got, like N4. Those people go spikes. And then cover with plastic. Bese mawuvela uzositshela ukuthi plastic. Only to find out what are spikes, and then immediately when you stop, they hijack, they take your belongings and everything.
We are aware of this, and we're working very hard together with the Tshwane Metro Police Department, patrolling the area, and that is why we've noticed a decline in the number of incidents lately.
According to Brigadier Matapelo Peters, Bronkhorstspruit police have recorded 14 incidents in recent months.
However, we have had cases reported in different police stations as well, so this could be more, but it's not more than 20.
So what advice would you give motorists now that we're going into Easter?
We'll be focusing on those hotspots and crime areas where we know that a specific pattern of crime has been picked up. But what I want to stress, for now, we are still under level 1 of the lockdown. There is still a curfew. So other than just that safety in terms of avoiding being robbed and all that, people should also respect the lockdown regulations and rather stay at home.
But for Irfan, it's too late.
He actually asked me 2 days after this incident for his ears, we call it his ears, for the hearing aids, and I couldn't give it to him because I didn't have it.
Currently, Irfan is left with only the old processor for his right ear. Having met Irfan, it's quite clear that losing both of his ears has been a setback. Replacing them is costly, but the longer he waits, the further he'll regress.
I think his parents can already pick up a change in his behavior. He will be more frustrated because he cannot communicate his needs. He's not always aware of what they are saying to him and what they want from him. I would think in 3 months' time you would already hear a change in his intelligibility of his speech, and round about 6 months he's going to be a different child.